So I tell you, we've got the 4 different virtues. Can we almost tackle them one by one? Is that cool?
Yeah, so I've got a quote here as well to like read out, because so there's so much to this philosophy that I end up doing an interview and then I'm like, Katie, you forgot to say this or this or this. So I have some notes, but we'll do it.
That's
So
fine.
like the Stoics classified virtue is massively important, but they classified virtue into 4 different main ones. So you've got courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. I actually have a little coin here, which is one of the coins that I carry every single day. So I have lots of other ones, but this one just comes with us every single day. And it's got on the back a quote that says, try not to exchange them for others. So try not to exchange these virtues for vices, which is it's a quote from Marcus Aurelius. So as I mentioned, the Stoics believed that virtue was like the highest good. So I have another coin here, which says summum bonum, and it's a Latin phrase from, I don't know if you've heard of Cicero, who was a Roman orator. So virtue for the Stoics is the highest good, and it's just so important for the philosophy as a whole. So they believe that virtue was sufficient for happiness. So that's, if you live virtuously, if you live well, you're going to be happy, and it's the only true good in life for the Stoics. So some people in this materialistic world, obviously people think that cars are good, money's good, stuff like that. The problem with that is, for something to be good for the Stoics, is it has to be good in all circumstances.
Okay.
Virtue can be good in all circumstances, but money, you could use money for good. You could give it a charity. I could use money for bad, like something bad. So it can be good in all circumstances. So virtue is good, vice is bad. Everything else falls in this gray category of indifference.
Mm-hmm.
So the Stoics say that health is to be preferred as opposed to illness, but you don't need it to be happy. You don't need it to live a good life. It's a weird way of thinking, because obviously you would prefer to be healthy, you'd prefer to be wealthy, but you can be happy when you don't have them things still.
Mm-hmm.
So virtue, most important thing for the Stoics. And they believe that every situation in life was an opportunity to practice one of the 4 virtues, or all of them, whatever it may be. So courage, are you brave? Like, and this little coin has the symbol is a lion, so I don't know if people can see there, but so like this is all about endurance, confidence, high-mindedness, cheerfulness, and it's really hard to live a good life if you stay in your comfort zone, if you're not able to stand up for what you believe in, or be courageous and just stand up for what really matters. So courage is a really important one for the Stoics. The next one's moderation. It says temperance on this coin, but that's more of an older term, but you can say moderation. And this is all about like self-discipline. So you've got good discipline, modesty, self-control, and that's really important, because obviously you've got all of the other virtues, but you need to know, like, in what situation, what virtue should I give to this? So have you heard of Aristotle?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So he created his take on ethics. He wrote a book called The Nicomachean Ethics, and he created this thing called the golden mean. So basically, virtue is bang in the middle between deficiency and excess. So you have, if we're going to take courage, courage is the virtue, which is in the middle. Excess is rashness, and the deficiency would be cowardice. So you see how that golden mean, you could take any virtue and apply it to that, but moderation is really important, because you have to be moderate and not be too like excessive with a virtue or too deficient. So then you've got justice, which is, how do you treat other people? Are you fair? Are you honest? Are you respectful towards them? So when people think of justice in today's society, you kind of think of the judicial system. This is more like social justice. So how you treat other people. Are you fair? Are you nice in how you deal with people? And then the last one is wisdom. So this is good sense, good calculation, quick-wittedness. Are you resourceful? And this is really important, because obviously you need to be wise in order to know how to apply all these other virtues to a situation. So they're all essential, they're all interlinked together, but you need wisdom to know what virtue to use. And there's a word called arete, which is excellence in Greek. And the Stoics believed that like excellence was mental strength. Basically, it's being rational, it's being your best self. So they're really important. And there's a quote from Marcus Aurelius here, which says, "If at some point in your life you should come across anything better than justice, truth, self-control, courage, it must be an extraordinary thing indeed." So obviously the Stoics hold virtue higher than anything else. And that's Marcus Aurelius is saying, if you can find anything better, then it must be amazing. But there's nothing better than them virtues. So it's like the bedrock of Stoicism, basically.
Because I think what's also interesting is that, this is coming from a Roman emperor that literally ruled half the world. And if someone like that, who has all the power and the ability to abuse it as others did and have, almost, it again adds more weight to it than just a philosopher. And strangely, I watch these really interesting BBC programs on was it Socrates, Confucius, and the Buddha.
Was it Bethany Hughes?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I've watched them too. They're amazing.
But they were really, really good. And it was just, I just stumbled across them. But the point is, almost there's so much stuff that we can learn. And then even before we jumped on this call, we were talking about, I've done loads of these now, but I still get nervous doing it. But actually, for where I want to do, I quite like pushing myself out the comfort zone and trying to change a few different things. And it's, but everything you're talking about, all the different kind of virtues, so with the roadmap thing, it's got nothing to do with making money. Actually, it's trying to help people that otherwise wouldn't have access to business education stuff. But actually, that's what makes me happy. And one of the big things I almost learned probably in my mid 30s, so I'm 38 now, and I reckon probably 34-ish, was just almost contentment. So I knew what actually made me happy, and it wasn't the cars or the salaries or whatever. It was maybe a subset of that, but actually for me, it's the fulfillment of creativity and doing stuff and giving back and talking to people. That's what actually makes me happy, and it has nothing to do with money, but actually money still enables me to do the stuff, if that makes sense.